Yo, it's your boy guys in here bringing y'all back another video on Onyx Equinox episode 4. And let me tell you, I am liking it so far. And found out some things about the humans that we previously didn't know. But before we get into that, guys, hit the subscribe button, doing a giveaway at 100 subscribers. So with that being said, let's get into this. So first off, we meet Zyanya again, the chick from episode 1, and she is now a monster hunter. So it didn't go into much being said in the beginning with her, but we see her again, so I know she's gonna play. So I knew she was gonna play a major part in this episode. So Ezel and his brothers, of course, are traveling through the forest. So their names are Ken and Yoon. Ken is a hot-headed one, and Yoon's a cool-headed one. Ken has short hair, Yoon has long hair. So just to tell them apart if you watch the anime. So Ezel's still kind of jealous that they got the ball, and he's like, it's like, you stole, first of all, you took the ball that I was supposed to get, and you had the life I should have had. So he's kind of jealous about that, but he can't, he's young, so I get it, but at the end of the day, he can't blame them because they didn't know. They were surprised when he came in and told Mock the story, or said that all to Mock. So they suggested that they need a rest, but Yaddle was not about that. He's like, you need to ask the ball how to find the next gate, and keep going. They don't have time to rest. They have less than, I think, 28 days now, so they have no time to rest. So they tried to ask the ball separate part, and then it's not working. So Ezel tells them, why don't you ask the ball together since y'all both bonded? And when they did it, it worked, and it pointed west. So they head west, and as they're heading west, Makanta Cooley comes out of nowhere, and Al Shatun, the city where the twins just left, and he is destroying everything, and they're worried about Mocked. Well, they strengthened their resolve because they decide that Mocked will be okay because he's one of the toughest guys they know, and they keep trucking it west. So Ezel talks to them for a while about it, asks them if they were okay, but they kind of hot-headed, so he ends up leaving and going to the other side of the stream. And he was reminded of his sister dying when he seen blood on his hands. He was just like, so he had to wash it off. And as he washed it off, you see a mysterious female in the tree. We already know it's Zyanya, but you know, before she could do anything, because Yaddle attacks her now. At that time, I didn't know she was going to do something dumb or whatever, but Yaddle attacked her, and before she could do anything, so she pulls out a hammer, starts beginning to fight with Yaddle. But you know, Yaddle's that guy. Easily overpowers her, gets her down, and she basically explains herself. Her gods destroyed her town of Donibon, and she's looking for monster hunters to help the survivors. So, and they tell her to press her time, and they have to close the gate, so they really don't have time to help her at all. And so, like, they're talking, and she takes a chance because Yaddle's distracted to hit Yaddle and get away. So they get to the temple, and it's a Mayan temple. Well, if you don't know who the Mayans are, they were indigenous people of Mexico and Central America who have continuously inhabited the lands comprising of modern-day Yucatan, Quintana Roo, Campeche, Tabasco, Chiapas in Mexico, and southward through Guatemala, Brazil, El Salvador, Honduras. They occupied all that. So that's just a little about the Mayans. Back to the story. Yaddle basically tells him that he cannot enter the temple because it's made of Olmec obsidian. Now we know what Olmec obsidian does to gods. It's a god repellent, so he can't go in. So they head into the temple themselves, and they are having trouble. And when they find some kind of entrance, like something activates in the temple, I think it has something to do with Ezel's eyes, because now he's cursed with underworld. He's tainted by the underworld gods or some shit. So, and it separates him and the two twins. So Yaddle summons K and tells them that there's a problem with his champion, and he basically tells him his champion has been tainted by underworld energy and believes that there are interfering forces in play. And K just ignores him. He tells him, you must fear Tez's reprobation. But he was like, but Ezel being tainted could not possibly be your fault. Well, Yaddle tells him, he tells him that he's trying to serve Tez and him equally, and he's trying to make wherever him working under K work. But K tells him to look, and they see a bunch of like weird monkeys, and K tells him that those are the God's second time trying to create people to venerate them, basically worship them, you know. So and that the gods cursed them to that form when they lost their nobility and gave into the baser tricks. And he tells them what happened with the first attempt, that Tez has sent jaguars to devour like the humans in their first attempt. In the third and fourth attempt, they drowned. So this is the 5th time the gods created humans in this world, in this Onyx Equinox universe, the 5th time. And he says humanity's in their 5th creation, and if this ceases to set them, so basically if the humans here cease to be of nurturing, give the gods, you know, the nurture that they need to continue, that the sun will darken and the earth will be destroyed, and everyone and everything will have to be remade. And he tells him that he has a right to fear his master and him. So, and he looks at Yaddle, he tells him, there's a question you always want to ask Tez, but you're too loyal to ask. But the answer is yes. And this is where things get like trippy. And he tells basically Yaddle that he was just afraid as they were before he became his emissary when he was human. So Yaddle was once human before he came the emissary of Tez. So that's, in my opinion, is crazy. So he tells him that the beacon, because Yaddle asked about him being a beacon, and Kay tells him that the underworld beacon that the boy has is of no concern, and that if he is to survive this, he needs to care less about the kids. So, and then he disappears. So, cuts back to Ezel. He's wakes up after being separated from his brothers, and he's creeped out when he sees a person that looks a lot like Nelly, and that the person tells him to trust him before going off. So, Yoon finds Ezel and asks if Ken is okay, and he sees Ken. He hears Ken. He moves to Ken, and Ken is like scared. He's like curled up in a fetal position with a ball in his hand. So he helps Ken out. Then he goes back and helps Ezel. And when he helps Ezel, the rope snaps, and they fall into like these egg-looking things, and they run to the gatekeepers, which are these crab-looking things. And they're running from their life. They're trying to climb ropes, but there's another gatekeepers. Like, there's a lot of these motherfucking crabs, guys. Like, a lot of them. So Zyanya comes in saving them, basically, and tells them that if she helps them get out of here, that they have to go with her to Daniban to help her people. Eventually, Ezel just says, okay, I got it. We will help you. And she starts fighting. She's trying to draw these gatekeepers away, but this gatekeeper looks and sees Ezel's eyes and immediately goes for him. So Zyanya saves him, and Ezel comes up with a plan to take out these monsters by using the cages. He draws one near. Him and the twins are running. He draws the two near, and she cuts the cage, smashing them both. So they go into a crevice and find the gate is over lava. And they also find like little ancient Mayan bodyguards that were there. Like, their bodies are dead. So anyway, Zyanya tells Ezel what happened in Daniban, and that Daniban has a gate like this. So, and there's 5 levers, and there's only 4 of them. So they don't know how they're going to open up these gates. Ezel ends up coming with a plan to use the lever, to use like a rope so they could pull 2 levers at once. So they end up doing that. So they end up doing the lever as the gate is summoning more gatekeepers. So they got lucky. So with the gate now closed, a path back to the outside opens, and Yaddle Senior Zyanya gets defensive. But Ezel tells him not to attack her as she has saved them, and now they have to basically go do what they promised her to help her people. Yaddle is against that, but Ezel tells him that that they promised her to go to Daniban, and there's a gate in Daniban. So basically Yaddle doesn't believe it. So, but he has the twins ask the ball where the next gate is, and the next gate points in the direction of Daniban. So it can be in Daniban, could be before Daniban. It's in that direction. But I'm pretty sure it's in Daniban because we all seen there's some kind of contraption there that looks a lot like that. So Yaddle leaves and tells him to only summon them if they must. And that this is their task, and the twins mock him when he says it, and then he leaves. But we know why he leaves, because like he's trying to take Kay's advice. He doesn't want to die, and I think that like he's growing to care too much. He thinks he's growing to care too much for the kids, but at the same time, it's like they have no fighting sense other than Zyanya. The other three are like they can't fight. They don't know how. So I don't know how he chose a champion that could not fight at all, or couldn't even have learned or taught before all this happened. So Zyanya is shaking as it gets to the end of the episode, and Ezel notices, and he asks, "Hey, are you gonna be okay?" And she says, "I'm fine." And she groans in pain. You see her groan in pain, but she leaves, says she's gonna get firewood. And when she walks away and she's like away from sight from them, she basically turns into one of those creatures. Now I don't know, and that's how the episode ended. Now I don't know what happened between the time episode 1 and episode 4 that made her like that, but I assume she's been cursed just like Ezel's been cursed, and that's her cursed form, and it only happens at night. I think that's just my opinion about it. I could be wrong. I'm wrong on a lot of theories, but that makes sense to me. So let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Do you think that's why Zyanya changes to a creature at night? Let me know what you've been thinking about the series so far. Me, I love it. It's different. Guys going about it in a different culture than anime usually does. Like, this is totally different as far as any other anime I watched. So let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. Also, if there's anything that that y'all think I could do better, leave it in the comments below. Let me know. So this has been Gajin for Gajin Retreat, guys, and I'm out.